Hey guys. Hey JMJ. Said I'm still collecting Easter eggs. No, sorry I'm late, guys. I kind of got a little behind later or earlier today, so. But here I am. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hey Edward. Hi Barry. Hey Barry. Barry's like, what's going on? Good morning, Edward. Well, good afternoon. Everyone's just saying hi to each other. Thanks for hanging out. So I'm going to be doing this reaction video. It's basically a video that was sent to me from Miss Full Roller, and I was just like, I should react to this because you guys know I want to go live every single day this week, and sorry, my throat is really dry, so I have to get my water. But yeah, so I'm gonna get the video up. I did link it in the description in case you want to check it out. But it's basically a couple of Floridians that came out to basically support the school keeping its name. I think it's an elementary school, and they're doing all of this just to make sure the name is kept. Robert E. Lee was like a famous general who was anti, the Union, which is the U.S. government, and led efforts for the South. So, very interesting video. I'm going to take a nice sip of water. Bear with me. I hate that I'm going to be clearing my throat for the video. I hate how that plays back, but bear with me, please. All right. So, that I'm just like, I can't even sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay. Another update before I get started with the video. I think it was Zero the Infinite. He told me that I needed to watch the Terminator, and I don't know why. For some reason, I just never watched it. I saw bits and pieces of it as a kid, but I guess I just never watched it for whatever reason. And my mom was I was on the phone with her, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm watching Terminator." And she's like, "You weren't even thought about when that movie was made." And so I was like, "Okay, well maybe that's why I never watched it." But I did watch that movie. You guys know I've been putting out a lot of videos lately about artificial intelligence and digital influencers and robots and all that stuff. So I may be doing something in relation to that movie because that creeped me out, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is what everyone's talking about." Okay, so let me pull up the article. Hey, Paulindo, welcome. Let me see if I can turn this around a little bit. Let me try this. But yeah, the Terminator movie, I was just like, in the whole time, I thought that Arnold Schwarzenegger, like I knew he was in the movie, I thought he was the good guy. Little did I know. I guess I automatically assumed since he was the main person, he had to have been the good guy. But no, he was definitely not. And I was completely creeped out by that movie. So, okay, let me find this article, or the video really, so I can pull it up. And hopefully my sound plays. I hope. I really hope it does. Okay, here it is. Let me take a look at some comments in here though. Oh, is it someone's birthday, Paolo? Or are you just saying happy Easter? Hey, hey, everyone's just saying hi. Okay, cool. I don't want to miss any comments. All right, let me see if this video is just crazy. Okay, I'm gonna try this and see. That your audio. Okay, so I'm just gonna be giving my reaction to this video about these folks wanting to keep. They not only are they wanting to keep this school name Robert E. Lee, but they say some pretty crazy stuff. So I'm gonna be reacting to it.
proposal in Jacksonville, Florida, to change the name of a high school.
Oops, okay, one second. The audio is going to my earbud. Okay, so I don't know if you guys could hear me that whole time, but let's try this again.
School, because it's literally named Robert E. Lee High School. Confederate soldier who betrayed his own country in order to fight to maintain slavery in America. That's what this high school is named after. Okay, great. So, the proposal to change the name makes a lot of sense, but people in the community think, no, it doesn't make sense.
Wait, is the volume okay? Okay, good. No, so I had my AirPods just out and the audio was going my AirPods. So I'm so sorry you guys were not able to hear me. So I just did that whole spill. You probably couldn't even hear anything I was saying. So sorry, but I'll keep the video playing.
Actually, slavery wasn't as bad as you thought, and maybe it was the slaves' fault. I'm not even kidding. These are people who willingly went up in front of a group of people as they're being filmed to say crap like this.
I was taught that the chiefs of the tribes in Africa sold their people into slavery. If it had not been that way, there would not have been any slaves anywhere in America for Robert E. Lee or anybody else to have owned. So don't blame Robert E. Lee. Maybe you should be after your ancestors.
Got something to say? Or
okay, you know what? Okay, so I have heard that argument. But first of all, here's my understanding of the whole like slavery in Africa thing. I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, that these were not people of the same tribe, right? So, you capture the other group's people and they're now your property, your slaves. That is not something that was specific to Africa. That was done throughout the old world. If during times of war, and it's still done today. Like, how many times have people been caught and captured? And maybe we don't say like these are their slaves now. Like, we see stories of journalists being captured by Al-Qaeda and all these different groups. That has happened throughout time. So yes, obviously one group at war with another group, if they capture that group, they're their slave. That is not a new phenomenon. That was not just in Africa. However, the argument that it's not our fault, no, because that does not give anyone the right to perpetuate that and create this chain of slavery that is based on skin color and all the rape and torture and just everything else, brainwashing, it's just not the same. Like, how dare she bring up something that she doesn't even know? She doesn't even know what she's talking about. She's just wanting to take anything, any technically fact, right? And we don't even, so something that we see in this video, I talked about this too. We don't even know the true history, because there's a lot of this country that people say, like Manhattan, for example. Yeah, the Dutch bought Manhattan. Oh, they bought Manhattan, really? You really think we're believing that? They bought Manhattan. So there's just so much. There's so much. I don't even want to watch the ad for
yourself? Constant Contact's powerful online marketing tools make it easy to stand out.
Okay. I'm going to pause that and see what some of the comments are saying. I'm just like heated from that, the first ladies. It's ridiculous. Like, they're looking for something to say that what they did wasn't so bad. Yeah. Capturing women, kids, men, torturing them for, oh my gosh, I don't even know. I just don't understand. Okay, So Edward is saying audio is good. Thank you so much, Edward. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Miss Full Roller. JMJ is saying, wow, right? This is a perfect opportunity to do a sunny Halston with that tea. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if that is. Hey, blessings. Happy Easter. So Miss Full Roller is saying, just because something is for sale does not mean they have to buy. Exactly. Because obviously if you think it's wrong, you're not going to do it. That's like if you were to talk about prostitution. Okay, so if you think that prostitution is wrong, but you're only attacking the women that are really being sold, right? Who's buying the services? Who is buying these women? Why aren't they held accountable? If anyone should be held accountable, it's those that are buying, because they're continuing the cycle. If, let's say, they had people in slavery and no one bought them, what's going to happen to them? They're not going to continue doing it because there's no one there to actually buy. There's no reason to do it. There's no money in it. Edward said intertribal wire. Exactly. So it's just like, and we see movies about this all the time. We see Game of Thrones. Like, people in the older times, this is how things were done. Yes, at times of war, the people that captured, they were enslaved. That was not slavery based on you're black and perpetuated, continuing, throughout the centuries. That's not how it worked. Miss Forrell saying, so miss me with that BS. Right, exactly. Barry saying, doesn't matter. If I falsely imprison someone and they are murdered while captive, does not excuse the murder. The argument is simply laughable. Exactly. It gets worse. I don't want to say it gets worse, but it's just very cringe. It's gaslighting at its finest. Miss Full Roller saying, all I have to say is that if you're BIPOC, get a gun and learn how to use it and pray. I agree with that, actually. I think it is our benefit to have guns. I am not a gun owner, but once I'm trained, I will be. Okay, because there's more. There are more people that are spewing this nonsense, and here's the thing. I mean, you can use anything. You can take any statement and use it to your advantage. And that's exactly what they're trying to do.
I know we're not supposed to have dead air. I know, but Ida, can you please take it away?
So
I feel her, because after that lady, you're just like, you don't really want to say anything. You just want to throw hands. You really just want to, we're done talking. No.
in the great words of Margarita Rodriguez, my mom, consider the source. I suspect that this woman is not a member of Mensa. And the stuff that she's saying, the respectability politics and the misinformation that it constantly surrounds the conversation around Black people and brown people in this country. And now we're talking specifically about Black people who are the descendants of slaves, that you are going to blame slavery on Black people, regardless of from what I learned. Obviously she didn't learn anything, but the fact that this is what baffles me, and I don't know if this gets you. Why does she care so much? Did she go to Robert E. Lee High School? Was she the prom queen? Was she the president of the student council? I don't think either. But what I'm saying is, why does she care so much about it? You know what it is? It's that last stand of white racist people who will hold on to whatever they have to, because that's all they feel they got to one up people of color and Black people in this country.
Okay, I gotta pause it right there, because I mentioned to you guys, I think most of you guys were on the video where I said Toni Morrison made this statement where she was recorded saying, what is white America, or what is the right race without racism? What makes them, who they are without the racism, right? And I think that is a great point, because you do have this group of people that maybe they're not as educated, right? Maybe they're not as wealthy, right? A lot of people recognize them as a lot of the Trump presidency, you know, his base of people, right? What they could hold on to was this idea that they're better, even if they're not educated, even if they don't have a lot of money, even if they don't have, I don't know, they're not in the social echelon or whatever, they're still white. So that still makes them better than any Black, Hispanic, Black, brown, whatever person, solely because of their whiteness. So after seeing that video, it's kind of stuck in my mind because, yeah, you do kind of think like, what is white without the racism? That's really what a big percentage of these folks have to hold on to. And so who knows, they're probably not, to this lady's point, probably not affiliated with this school. They just want to hold on to that whole make America great again, make the America where, you know, the white people felt like they were better than. And it's even tougher now because you're seeing a lot of incidents, like we know these things, right? Where if you're Black and you have a nice car, you're kind of called out or you're questioned, like, well, how do I not have a car like that and you do? That type of thinking, right? Thank you, Miss Fullroller. Thank you, Edward. Okay, I'm gonna keep playing it.
Why would you get in your car, as expensive as gas in? There is a pandemic on the loose, to go defend Robert E. Lee High School. That just lets you know, like, consider the source. Why is that? I would love to know, why is it so important for her? You know what it is? She wanted to make that statement about Black people selling themselves into slavery, which is one of the biggest lies that have always been told to Black people, where your own people sold you into slavery. Oh, that justifies 400 years of rape, pillaging, and mistreatment, you know, all of the above and then some. So I just listen to these people, and this is what I'm saying is, it all goes back to the serious hold that the education system has in America. I'm from Florida. I'm familiar with Jacksonville. I went to school in Tallahassee. Northern Florida is Southern Georgia. The attitudes of racism, they dwell there. And these people.
Okay, I gotta pause it right there too, because she just made me think of something else, because we do hear a lot about, like, a lot of times we kind of turn the tables on, like, look at Black people doing this, or, you know, with the whole police brutality incidents, murders, right? Of, oh, well, you know, Black people shoot each other all the time. Yeah, but they're not paid to protect and, you know, protect and serve. White people are doing the same thing, but no one calls it out as white on white crime. I mean, there's plenty of incidents in the news where white people in their communities, right, are raping, killing, shooting, attacking, bombing, and everything else. But no one's saying, oh, well, you know, the police, they should be able to attack you because you're killing each other. I mean, you could say that to the entire human race. We're all killing each other in some way or another, whether it's how we're treating the environment, directly attacking each other, and, you know, X, Y, and Z. That's no, like, what is the point to that, right? So in this case where the claim is, well, you know, the Africans, they slowed slaves, so that makes it right. Like, no, it doesn't. And if you go to Africa right now, you're not seeing the same, like, the mental change on the people and everything else. Like, you're not seeing that same, like, there's a complete difference when you are even talking to someone from Africa. They're tied to their culture, right? We still see those effects of colonialism, right? But it's different. It's not what Black Americans have gone through, because even just that point right there, stripping away from the culture. Same thing they did with many Native Americans in this country, stripped them away from their culture. There's so much we could talk about with that, but I'm just like, anyway, let's continue.
are having their last hoorah because they don't want to give up what they assume to be their privilege. But I don't think she's kicking it with the Kardashians. So I just don't understand what it is that she's trying to hold on to. And I know what it is. It's her whiteness, because that's all she's got to one up Black people. Who?
That part right there, exactly. That's all they have. So you have this group of people that feel like, not to say that those are the only people that feel this way, right? But you have a lot of folks that are fighting for these little things of a statue or a monument or something that they can hold on to because it's a reminder that, you know, you're better, right? Or you once owned slaves, or you once did this. So yeah, that's huge. I'm really glad that she said that. Let me, I guess, take a minute to check out some comments because I'm not always good at this. JMJ said, basically, you're describing the folks that take no issue at all with Caucasians wiping out the Native American tribes and taking over this land. Exactly. It's like no accountability for the injustice that they've done. Like that's the biggest thing. It's just no accountability for any of the injustices. JMJ said, got some Gatorade. Oh my goodness. I saw Miss Full Roller's comment. Ladies, clutch your virtual pearls, and guys, get your drink ready. Yes, there is more, and it's just like, it just gets worse. Best self-interest. Hey, there's a spiritual element that a lot of people don't understand. They know they're wrong. They just don't care. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, she made the news. She made the news.
She made the news, but wow. I mean, thank you for taking that on, because that stupidity was, it just left me speechless. I mean, I would love to ask her a few questions. So
don't waste your time.
if someone came to me with a weapon and said, you know, this woman, the woman that was up there speaking, she goes to work from 9 to 5. There's no one else in the house, and she has a giant jewelry box with all the jewels in it. You never have to work again. Take the gun for safety. Go ahead and rob her. Go burglarize her home, right? If I went and burglarized her home, who's at fault? Is it the person who's giving me the information, or the person who actually commits the crime, or the person who actually carries out the bad behavior? So it's amazing to me that she thought that kind of reasoning would bode well for whatever argument she's making in favor of keeping that stupid name for that stupid school. I don't know if the school's stupid. Let me not be unfair. But with that said, she wasn't the only one who was willing to make a fool out of herself. We have more. Let's watch.
But Florida.
Communism slowly destroys a nation by removing all icons, such as Aunt Jemima space from pancake mix, Civil War statues, other things like historical school names.
WTF, like what? What does Aunt Jemima pancake mix have to do with this whole scenario? So, first of all, okay. So the argument is for keeping, let's remember, the argument is they want to keep the name of this school, Robert E. Lee High School, or whatever it is. So this man gets up here and he's like, his argument is, they're trying to change Aunt Jemima. I may have to replay that because I'm really confused. I'm like, what are you talking about? What? So a company changing their pancake mix name, which
Historical school name.
First of all, one, unless you are a stock owner in that company, that has nothing to do with you. None whatsoever. I don't even know who owns that company, but that's the first thing. And then, yes, it needs to be changed. I despise that whole Aunt Jemima caricature of, what was it, the Sapphire, the Mammy. I mean, so many to pick from, which were a direct root of slavery, which this lady is talking about. Well, Africans enslaved. Like, no, you guys, If Africans enslaved, you guys took it to a whole nother level, right? Anyway, but he's talking about these monuments and stuff like that. What's that have to do with getting the name changed for the school? Hold on, let's listen to this.
This, other things like historical school names.
Oh, I think
Pancake mix. The nation by removing all icons, such as Aunt Jemima space from.
Since when is Aunt Jemima an icon? What? So they're saying his argument is no, we shouldn't change the school name because they already changed the name for Aunt Jemima's pancake mix, which is a Black woman's face. How do you have any control over Black person's imagery on something that you don't even own? I don't even understand what is the argument. JMJ is laughing. I'm just like, I don't even, what? And then Miss Flora was suggesting to watch the movie Gaslight. It came out in 1944. So let's all check that out. Looks like Edward is already on top of it. American culture, okay. JMJ says, I've heard it all. I heard it all, right? Like what? It's like you can tell this group of people. I would be very surprised if this group of people had bachelors and masters and PhDs. I will just say that. Just gonna say that. Best self-interest says, I honestly have odd with Anna and that channel. I don't know what you're talking about. They believe that descendants of American chattel slavery don't deserve reparations. They espouse that we benefited from the New Deal. Black people have not benefited from much of anything in this country. We've gotten very little of anything. Like just getting into like we're paid less for the same work, especially break it down to Black women, the least paid for the same work. We're not getting any of the benefits. If anyone benefits from things like affirmative action, it's white women, not so much Black people, right? Black women or Black men, white women benefit the most from that. It's just like it's just the lies that are portrayed, right? The data doesn't lie. The data does not lie. And so when people portray things like, you know, welfare queens and all these benefits that Black people are supposed to be getting, I'm not even. Anyway, let's listen to what this man has to say.
Pancake mix. Civil War statues. This, other things like historical school names.
I'm just like, you lay it with pancake mix. How do you even take anyone serious if their argument is you changed the name of the pancake mix? Like, sir, just sit down. Sir, you just need to have a seat. Have several seats.
So I love how he's talking about icons. And the first thing that comes to mind is Aunt Jemima. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind for this guy. He's like, you know, these communists, they want to get rid of these icons, these historical icons, like Aunt Jemima. No, but this is what happens with conservative media. It rots people's brains, where they literally think that the most important issue, the issue that'll motivate you to go to this cheesy meeting, is culture war nonsense. Aunt Jemima, Dr. Seuss. Like, I would love to know what this man's life is like. Are you okay? Are you taken care of? Right? Are you worried about your economic future? You know, are you worried?
Can someone please block Shoe? Please. I'm in StreamYard and I can't do it, but please do block this Shoe person. You have a blessed day, Shoe.
About getting sick and not being able to get the care you need. Like, these are issues that actually impact his life. Aunt Jemima on a box does nothing for you. Nothing.
But it does something.
It's just.
Thank you, Miss Full Roller. Let me stop. It's like it didn't play. Something happened. 1 second. You know what? See, Shoe is one of those people that we were talking about. Okay. I just cannot even. It gets worse. It like literally gets worse. Okay, let me see if you guys can see my screen again. Oh, I did something wrong. 1 minute. Let's see.
He had a notebook of arguments. What I was gonna say is, I want to take this moment to address what the first lady said. There's an old proverb that says, "Until the lion learns how to write history, the hunter will always tell the story, will always document the history." I am tired of hearing white people say that Black people sold themselves into slavery, that it was, first of all, we can't trust your history because your history is always telling the story wrong when it comes to Black and brown people and all people who are not white, men, and straight. Let's just start there. Secondly, how does that justify the egregious?
Gotta pause it right there because yes, there's even information that's coming through because there's been these arguments, right, about the original Egyptians. They're finding DNA that proves Egyptians, those that are in these tombs, some of them actually do have, obviously Nubian heritage coming from a white scientist. And he was like, oh, this due to the nose shape and this and that and the DNA, they had to be of Nubian background. And he's so surprised, right? And then he goes at the end to say, well, the race doesn't really matter. There's this video that's been around where they had that recording. I'm just like, oh, so now the race doesn't matter. Okay. All right. I see how y'all play.
Acts that happened to Black people throughout the world as slaves. How does it justify? You just said it with your analogy. And third of all, it's like, we don't believe this crap. We don't believe this crap. We don't believe a great portion of the stuff that you've told us because we keep discovering all the lies as we go along the way. So for anybody who steps, first, that meeting was all white people. They all look like they belong to a certain class, education class. They all look like they belong to a certain section of the country that has been pretty problematic during this pandemic. And so when I see stuff like that, I just say, these people right here are a direct result of the dumbing down of America to maintain this white supremacy in place, because white people's minds are also a victim of white supremacy. They're also victims of it, whether we want to admit it or not, wherever you place them.
I actually do believe that. I do believe that the white supremacy, that literally is a disease. Like everyone is affected by it. Whether you're on, the spectrum of you're white American or European, whatever, all this racism, it goes deep. And so there are literally people, the fact that people are literally walking around thinking that just based on their skin complexion alone, nothing within their character, nothing they've done, they deserve more than someone else. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. Mr. B is saying Joe Biden had the Republicans in mind when he says it's time to remove all the lead piping from the infrastructure, LOL. So I'm not super political, but it's just I don't even like Joe Biden, so I'm just gonna leave it there. But thank you, Mr. B. Now I see why there are 2 thumbs down. Meh. Well, comes with the territory. Thanks, JMJ. You guys just have to like it. That makes the likes more important. Miss Four Roller, y'all in the chat also report this person on your end. The more reports, the better. Oh, thank you, Miss Four Roller. Yes, we need to report him. Hey, that just happened. You know what? Not even phased. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, you know what? Says more about you than me. Hey, Rice and Beans. Hello, hello. You missed some interesting stuff, Rice and Beans. Edward is saying, I agree. JJ said, good point. It's a death cult as per meth and opioid crisis. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the video.
On the scale, they're still victims of it as well, because you can't tell me that anybody in that room has a quality education and probably quality health care. So I'm just like, why are we even, it's just ridiculous.
The shade. The shade. The shade of it all. So here's the thing, I made the comment about the education. Some of these folks could be educated. Like, I can't even say that educated folks don't have some of the same mentality, but you definitely see it more, with a certain community, right? So I get it. It's crazy because when you do bring up like Democrats, Republicans, what people actually need, the people that needed healthcare, they didn't vote for, the Democrats who were pushing for healthcare, right? It's very interesting how that plays out.
Ridiculous to me. When I see stuff like that, it looks like a skit from SNL.
Yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it's worse because it's real life. And also, like, I do find it fascinating that people who believe whites are the superior race, right? These are the people who think whites are the superior race. Don't even, like, he just tried to make the argument that a private company removing Aunt Jemima from its products is communism.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We do have one more video for you. So let's take a look at one more dummy.
The headline.
It says in the Bible, Jesus himself never condemns.
Oh Lord, you guys know how I feel about that, but I'm already cringing. It's very cringe. Like when you start with, it's said in the Bible, I'm just like, oh, okay. Let's see what he has to say. I'm just like, I don't remember what he said, but I remember I stopped the video when Miss Four Roller sent it to me. I was watching and I stopped at this part because something he says really got to me. So let's see what he actually says.
Slavery. In fact, he said slaves have an obligation to obey their master.
Got something to say or sell? Constant Contact's powerful email marketing tool.
Wow.
New product. And do it all.
I'm not even. So, okay. So he's making this argument that in the Bible, it says something about slaves be good to your master. I gotta replay it.
Never condemn slavery. In fact, he said slaves have an obligation to obey their master.
Where in the Bible does it say that slaves are Black people? One, where does it say that you should be enslaving Black people in the Bible? First of all, right? In the Bible, the only time I recall slavery being mentioned, or bondage, or debt, like debtor, right, is when you were owed a debt to a person. Like the what is it? The debtor is slave to the lender, right? That's the only time. So if you're thinking about it from that context, then if you were owed something from someone, they would be your slave. So all these people today, to my point, are enslaved to their lender. That is the only form of slavery that I've seen in the Bible. Nowhere did it say, oh, white people should be enslaving black people. Where does it say that? So that's one. The second thing is, if you go to any Christian, when you ask them who is the master, they're going to say God. So now are you saying that white people are gods? Right? Is that what you're saying? Just so much wrong with that. First, and then the last thing is, since when are we as black people, again, I do not encourage this. Since when do we as black people need to listen to anything a white person is saying about the Bible, Christianity, and how that reflects us? That was something that was given to us, that was pushed on us, as well as the rest of the world. Christianity is pushed on people. And if you go back into, the ages, it was, you get the Bible, we get your land. Since when has Christianity done something really good for our people? So why should we listen to this white man saying this stupid argument about the Bible not condemning slavery? The Bible condemns cheating and adultery, but people still do it. What is that argument? Like, that's the stupidest thing. And again, like, we go back to the point of the video, right? That these people are saying that they want to keep the name of the school, Robert E. Lee. What does that have to do with anything in your argument? Like, it's just like a terrible argument. Like, what is this? Like, what is this? But anyway, just to that point, I think that's why I clicked off, because I was pretty disgusted by that comment. But anyway, you guys know my point about the Bible and using it as a reference to anything as far as how you live your life. I don't agree. As far as black people are concerned, I do not think that we should be referencing a lot of that, especially something given from a white person with ill intentions. Let me make that clear. Clearly, ill intentions. JMJ said cricket after that video played. Right, because it's just like the stupidity of it all. It's the stupidity. Hey, Percy. Get the bag in a briefcase. How are you? This is a crazy one. Luckily, that was the last person. I do want to hear what the ladies have to say about him. JMJ, someone make this guy a slave ASAP. He probably, what's crazy is he probably already is a slave. Because he's probably most likely in debt. Most likely he does not own his home. Now you can see why I said clutch your pearls and get your dream. Right, Miss Roller. And I did not remember what he said. I just remembered I paused at that part because something he said I did not like. And so I didn't even listen to the rest of the video. JMJ says, sorry, I will be kind. What did she say? JMJ, yeah, this Gatorade might not cut it. Gatorade might not cut it. If he has a car, credit card, or mortgage, he already is. And I don't. Thank you. And he doesn't know it. Exactly right. Hey, Carly Cloudy, how are you? I'm just like, where do these people get off? But let's see what these ladies have to say. I want to hear their commentary on that last comment, because that was stupid. Like, I mean, so they're trying to use history, and now they're trying to use the Bible, which, again, we know what the Bible's been used for throughout the history that we know. It's been used to take land, take others' riches, and to control people. That's literally what it's been used for. Now, is there good information that's in the Bible? Yes, just like there's good information in other religions as well, but people don't want to talk about that. It's Bible, Christianity, and that is it. Which I think most people will find me a little bit controversial, because I do not think that is the end all be all. Like, there's more information that is out there that can be used for the betterment of people. Christians have been ruling the world. Where is the world at now? Where we're in a pandemic and there's a disease running rampant across the world. That's where we are right now. And we're dealing with all these other issues that stem from colonialism and everything else. So anyway, let me go ahead and play.
Really? Is that what the Bible says, Ida?
I like how the lady Ida, she's just like, she's just laughing at this whole situation. She's like, what is this stuff? Like, I'm just gonna laugh. She's like, I'm not even taking these people seriously, whatever.
You know what? He was gonna say black, and then he caught himself.
Wait a minute.
Listen.
Was he about to say black? Let's replay. Let's go back. I want to hear that because I missed it.
Headline.
It says in the Bible, Jesus himself never condemned slavery. In fact, he said slaves have an obligation to obey their master.
I don't think he was going to say
Really?
I didn't hear that part. Did you guys hear that?
There's nothing funny about slavery. There's nothing funny about what has happened to Black people in this country or throughout the world as a result of slavery. But there's something very funny about a person who decides to, those are the people who justify child abuse with the scripture that says you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Those are the people who justify beating your wife because the Bible says that it justifies slavery. It justifies, it's interesting, all of the things that you can justify.
You know what? That is a good point. With the Bible, it's all a matter how you use it. Like, you can definitely use the Bible in a good way, which I think a lot of pastors try to do. But there are people that will use the Bible and use it in a very negative way and use the Bible to basically say that they're right or they need to be forgiven for every little thing, right? Or they can do no wrong, or, you shouldn't judge me. I'm doing this, but you don't judge me. All these different things, you can definitely use the Bible to your advantage, whatever that is. I think that's another problem with that, is that it's more of what the people do with, it's not even the religion, it's what we do as people with the religion, right? So yeah, I do, to a point, I do agree with the lady Ida.
In the Bible, but when you talk about abortion and homosexuality and the things that make them feel a little weird or like they're not in control, then they flip the script and then they forget the scriptures that support those things. I just think it's interesting. First of all, I want everybody in that room to be mandated to take a COVID test, because I know somebody brought COVID to the meeting and a few of them probably.
She didn't stop. That has nothing to do with things. I'm gonna answer Percy. I don't know, Percy, if you're still in here, I'll answer your question. But leave me a note in here if you're still in the chat. I'll answer your question about Percy basically just asked me what my faith is, what was I raised in my childhood, or what was my faith raised as a childhood. So I'll answer that question if you are still in the chat here.
Probably left with it because you could see by the way that they were holding their masks. But I get animated because this is what I have to tell my children every day. You gotta consider the source. You cannot let somebody like that make you feel bad about yourself simply because they believe that they're better than you because of the color of their skin, when they can't even put together a sentence, one sentence that is based or rooted on anything that is intelligent, smart, or factual. How could you let those people make you feel bad about yourselves? All the Black and brown people watching today, when we get hurt, when people call us the N-word or the S-word, they call me all kinds of things. They call me the combos on Twitter and social media. Those are the people. Don't worry about what those people think about you. Feel sorry for them. Use this page out of Toni Morrison's book, because that is a good reflection of how poor the South is and how poorly educated they are. And that's not just the South, because that's sprinkled throughout the country. We got that in California. But it's just, please don't let those people make you feel bad about yourself.
I would even say that it's not even the uneducated, like definitely a lot stronger with, those openly saying things like this in communities that are less educated. But I would even say, if you look at our schooling systems, you look at the college and everything, who teaches our kids, who teaches, when we're going to these general public universities, a lot of the history is not right unless you're hearing it from people that look like you. And to the point earlier, like whoever controls that narrative, what was the saying that someone shared it? I don't know if I saw this in someone's video. I just can't remember. But it was, I had to have heard this in someone's video. Maybe it was Miss Fuller, maybe it was Zero, the Infinite. But they were saying that something about like the lion, if you never hear the story, I'm probably not going to do that justice, but basically whoever whoever wins, they control that argument, or they control that history. So if we're only hearing the history as it was told from one group of people, right, how do we know that that's really the true history? And to her point, Ida, we do see with science, like science is something that you can generally trust more than someone's word of mouth of this is what happened. But you can say this is what happened, but the science says otherwise. We've seen stories of where, a white person said this person did X, Y, and Z. DNA evidence shows they weren't there. They don't have any evidence at the scene of the crime. And so you got the wrong person. But if we had just listened to their narrative, we would believe them, which in this country and throughout the world, I would say, we have been taught to believe white is right. Okay. Sometimes I even have to question myself of like, because media is so powerful and history and all these things, it's just so powerful, all the brainwashing. I even had to question myself of like, I'll be personal here for a second, of like dating. Okay, why am I even attracted to that person? Is it because media is like telling me that that is the right person I should be attracted to? Or is it that I'm actually attracted to them? That's been like a struggle for me to really think about how far does the brainwashing go, especially when you're seeing media and things like that. So, but yeah, you look at the science and the history does not match. You're looking at the scientific evidence of Egypt and how Cleopatra and all these different queens, they were shown as blonde, dark hair, blue eyes, light skin, pale skin. And then you're seeing DNA evidence that shows that's not the case. Now, naturally, if we think about people being close to the equator, it's like, that's not the case, but you're force fed, the lies. And so that's continued throughout history of being force fed the lies. And if you haven't noticed, like a lot of the history books, they do change. They change over time. So even if you look at the Bible, again, my point about the Bible, the changes that were made to the Bible, like people edit, they tweak, they make it favor their narrative as time goes on. You think over the course of centuries, come on, we're not getting the real, we're not getting the real stuff. Let me look at some comments because I know I'm missing stuff. I don't think Percy is in here anymore, so I'll save that for another day. Partly Cloudy is saying, "What's up, Edward?" Oh, she's Puerto Rican. Probably, yeah. She looks like she'd be maybe Hispanic or mixed race at least. Her name is Ida. I don't know. Fair question, Percy. Get the bag and the briefcase. And how about yourself? I'm gonna let Percy answer, then I'll answer. I'm only answering if he's still in here. Because sometimes people come in, they peek in, and they leave. So I'm not gonna be answering that question unless I see the person that asked still wants to know. Ms. Farrell is saying, if you control the narrative, you definitely control the resources, and the so-called hero controls the narrative. Exactly. Because they can say they're the good guy or the bad guy, right? JMJ saying that was guess too, but only because I was stereotyping her features and her mother's last name. Ah, okay, probably Puerto Rican. I agree with that. I think definitely. Yeah, probably definitely Latina at least. Can we really trust science? Good question. Can we really trust science? That's, you know what? Because yeah, I guess you could make the argument that science has even changed over time. Anyone in that region is gonna have some color to that region of the world. It's hot as heck over, right? And so, with the Christianity thing, how is Jesus typically portrayed? Blonde hair, blue eyed. Every place I've gone in Europe, in the U.S., that's the only vision of Jesus I've literally seen in churches painted, and it doesn't make any sense, right? It's like I haven't been to the Middle East. I've been to Morocco. And so the people there, it's still close to the equator, right? But the people there are definitely not blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, how are you going to physically survive? And I even had people, like, I've left a comment on some video and I was like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And people were arguing, like, well, no, lighter skin cones, they can live anywhere in the world. I'm just like, they're going to have a tan though, and they're going to get burnt. Like most people, for most folks that have a lighter complexion, even for even for Hispanic and Black people, we actually can get burnt by the sun. It's just not as easy. We can take a lot more. My mom has literally gotten sunburns. So you're telling me someone with melanin is getting sunburned, but you're fine in the sun? Whatever. Whatever you want to say. But I know what's true. Ms. Furler is saying, so that right there should make you question the narrative that we have been given exactly of Cleopatra. Yeah, and the other queens. Yeah, exactly. It's like, but it's like, okay, when is it even worth it to argue? Like, it's like you argue and there's still like this proven science. To your point, Ms. Furler, it's kind of like you have to question some of the science sometimes, because you can somewhat manipulate science to your own, to what you want it to be. So it is definitely tough. Whatever shade he was, I can never thank him enough. Right? Yeah. So right. And it doesn't really matter. Like when you think about God, like we have the issue of, okay, was it a he or was it a she? What's the gender? Like, does it really even matter? Because isn't he supposed to be he or she supposed to be a spirit? And wouldn't it be a masculine and feminine spirit? Like, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. But anyway, I just wanted to react to this video. Thank you so much, Miss Full Roller, for sharing this with me, because I was like watching this video and I was just like, how? So I don't know what is going to happen with this school. Let me see. I'll play the ending of it. Let me skip a little bit and see if anything happened at the end. I don't know if they renamed the school or what, but let's see if they say anything.
Luckily, no one I know was in that video. If anyone should be embarrassed, it should be those people who spew their ignorance openly, transparently, and actually think, and they do it with the unearned confidence. Like it is pretty incredible.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
Also, don't say anything. So I don't know what happened with the school or if the name was changed or what. I've always heard that Florida is, races and all this stuff. I've been to Florida a few times. I've been to, but like the, tourist spot, like Miami and Panama City Beach and Tampa and, I've never had an issue. I don't know if folks like JMJ, Mr. B, Miss Roller, have you guys had issues in Florida? Have you seen it? I know people typically will say, no, I'm not trying to live in Florida because they're so racist there. And obviously there's racism everywhere, all over the world, some form or fashion of racism, or some ism, right? If it's not heavily racism, it's some kind of ism, right? But yeah, maybe I haven't spent as much time there, enough time to really see it. But I hear that all the time. When I was in New York, especially, I remember this girl was telling me, like, there's no way she would ever live in Florida. And she was pretty much, I won't say she was mixed race, but she looked it. And I'm like, well, she's having problems. I'm going to have a problem then if she's saying that. And I wonder where she lived. So it's interesting that this was a scenario in Florida, because I've definitely always heard Florida folks are a little racist. I'm generalizing here. So if you're in Florida and you're not that way, I'm sorry, but that's just the general thing that I've heard. Obviously not saying that every single person there is, and obviously there's a big Hispanic community. I know there's a big Cuban, more Haitian community there as well. Do we believe a man walks on water and makes it rain bread? Did he make it rain bread, or did it just like bread appeared? Oh, or are you talking about manna? I think manna might be bread. I mean, I think anything is possible. I do believe, I'll talk personally for a second. I do believe that Jesus exists. I mean, I have my own spiritual journey. It's just not very much aligned with me going to a church and listening to someone tell me something. But that's an interesting point. Like, do we believe a man walks on water and makes it rain bread? It just depends. I mean, crazier things have been done. Like, we live in today where, I don't know, all the technology and things happening, it's believable to me. It could definitely happen. I don't know if anything at this point you could say anything is not possible, right? But no, I kind of have my own personal journey there as far as Christianity goes and believing in God and, Jesus. But no, I do believe that Jesus exists. And I think a man on this earth, I think we can do anything that we have our mindset on, because we can create ourselves. If we're created by God, God created us, then we have that ability to create, is my personal belief. I do believe that. JMJ said, great find this video. Yes, Miss Flowroller, gotta give her credit. She found this video and sent it to me on Instagram, and I was like, okay, well, we're watching it. We're watching it on my channel. You guys know I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna try to do it every day this week. Whew. Might be rough, but I'm gonna try to do it. Oh, it's challenging in the South and Southeast. Yeah, because I have heard about that in South Carolina or the Carolinas. I've heard that too. Mr. B saying, I was referring to the mixing of church and state. I see. I don't believe there can be, I don't think there should be mixing of church and state. I think, religion should be separate from politics, but I don't know if that will really happen, because it's always been, right? It's always been the three powerful things. It's been the military power, it's been the religious power, right? And then it's been the politics, who leads the people. So it's always been those three things together, right? Politics, religion, and the military. Who controls those things? And the church, they've got the money bags. They got the money bags. It's crazy how much money the church has. But what do they do with it? That's always been my problem. My problem has never been, giving church money. I've given church money, right? My issue is, what is the church doing with the money? How is the church any different than politicians if we're not seeing anything change positively to our community? I might as well give it to a politician. What is the difference? Because if you're not doing things for the community and helping people get better, because we're not just talking about the spiritual. I think a lot of it is so caught up on the spiritual health. No, you as a person can take care of your spiritual health. You yourself are empowered. You can build a relationship, right? You can build a relationship with God. You can do whatever you need to do to, kind of grow in your spirituality, whatever that might be, right? But what people generally come to the church for is they need tangible, physical help. They need help. And if you're just feeding them this imaginary, oh, you're going to feel better and God's going to make a way. And then they leave and they get nothing but that physical feel good kind of, and then they don't really have anything. You're not even teaching knowledge, not even giving them real knowledge. You're giving them the word. You're doing kind of like what in the past. Give them the Bible. We take the land. Give you the Bible. We take the money. That's always been my issue. It's like, what are you guys doing? And I'm particularly talking about the Black church, because I do think, from my experience looking at the Catholic Church, there are differences. There are definitely differences there. They're held to a different standard, at least when it comes to helping people. The problem is not the religion, etc. The problem comes from these things being used for control, manipulation, justification of vile behavior, others for one's own ends, touted as the one way. Exactly my point. Thank you, Miss Fuller. That's said beautifully. Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, no problem with religion, whatever your religion is. As what is it used for? What is the actual? And that's really what, if you think of everything, it's not really the thing. Like the whole politics situation, it's not really the politics. It's more of what you're actually doing. What is the result? Like people actually doing X, Y, and Z because of their politics is the crazy, scary thing. Thanks, JMJ. Mr. B says, I'm not knocking religion, but imagine if we believe everything the far right does and we were led by them. Right. Yeah. I don't think there ever should be extremes. We should not be on the far left, far right. We have to meet somewhere in the middle. So I don't think anything good is going to come from that, right? I definitely don't think so. I think it's a good point, Mr. B. Yeah. And yeah, for me, I don't knock religion either. I have my challenges with, what people are doing and using religion for, but I don't have any issue. Mr. B says, and thank you. Yes, please be sure to hit that like button. As a free country, what would people say if a president found a change of religion and started to say, Allah bless America? You know what? Well, Joe Biden's not going to do that, but we know Joe Biden's not doing that. Get some water. I think, I feel like when other cultures are saying like a different word for God, we're all still celebrating God. Like it's just a different name, right? I don't know. That's my perspective, though. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. And you can make anything into a god. I think our world is just so messed up because we, as people, we can judge another person for, I don't know, believing in the wrong God, right? When people in their day-to-day lives, they have their own God that they're worshiping in a way, like with their cars, or they've got to have their phone on them. Myself, that's a struggle of mine. That's a big struggle for me, of feeling like I always have to be connected, always have my phone. You can turn anything into a god because if you think about it, if you're worshiping it in a way, you're thinking about it all the time, you're praising it in a way, like, oh my gosh, I gotta have my phone, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. Or your car, oh my gosh, my beautiful car, I gotta, like, that can become a god to you. But yet we judge people for what they want to, what they want to praise or worship. Like, it's not your place. Let people figure it out. You can share some information with someone else. Let them figure it out. If they don't want it, they don't want it. You go about your day, and God bless you. Like I told that person earlier, you know what, God, bless you. Bless you. A big what if. Yeah, Joe Biden's definitely not doing that. There would be a fight for show. Exactly what he did. Wait, who did that? Let me back up. Akhenaten? That's exactly what he did. Oh. So Mr. B said, great point. If this could actually happen one day soon, hope I don't have to live through it personally. But yeah, it's coming. You also said we can be brainwashed. Could be. Absolutely brainwashed. Becoming merged with anything outside of oneself. Okay, I want to bring it back full circle. So the reason the Terminator movie kind of scared me was the fact that you see, and hopefully everyone's seen that movie, I'm guessing you guys have, is that you see that there's this human flesh merged with a machine in Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, the Terminator. And so he has human flesh, but underneath he's actually a machine, a cold-hearted, no-hearted machine. And I don't know, that really got to me. Like, he literally looked human, and then you see at the end he's an actual machine. Ugh. And I feel like that's where we're headed. I do think that we're going to get to a point where we literally are merging with the machine. And it's scary. I know it probably sounds crazy, but I think we're going to get there. I think that's what we're going to be moving towards. It's super scary. Anyway, I think I'm all good with this video. Just these Florida folks showing their stupidity, in my opinion. And you know what? Who knows if they're going to rename the school or if they're going to keep it the same. I mean, my stance on this stuff is for Black folks, like, don't go to the school. Homeschool your kids or something. Make an alternative. Go somewhere else, right? But there's a lot of people that maybe they can't do that. So that's what I think should happen. Just let them have their school. Okay. So if they want their school to be called Robert E. Lee, okay, that's their school. Who probably owns it? Probably not Black folks, because the name would have already been changed. So let them have their school. And you guys go somewhere else. Build your own school. Like, I thought about it. We need our own things, right? We need our own. We just do. I don't care if you're Black, mixed, whatever. We need our own stuff. So that way we don't have to be like, please change the name to your school that you created. It's fine. You keep your school. You name it. I don't know. Name it Mahatma Gandhi for all we care. Name it, I don't know, who's somebody that's terrible. I can't think of anyone other than Robert E. Lee. I'm trying to think. Name it Lyndon B. Johnson. For all we care, you name it whatever you want, and we're gonna homeschool and do our own thing. So easy scenario. Let me look at some comments and I'm gonna get off of here. JMJ said, y'all some deep thinkers. They are, Miss Four Roller, Mr. B. JMJ, you're a deep thinker too. Yeah, it's JMJ. I scared the heck out of me. Akhenaten in Egypt changed from the worship of many gods, which was the way during his time to worship of one. Oh, I do know about that. Not as in depth, but okay, yeah. I wonder, I'm just looking at this comment. I wonder if we would have some big change like that happen and what that would mean. And hey, Barry, I thought you were gone. I'm glad to hear you agree. If you don't affect the dollar, you don't get change. Well, we need to own. We just have to own more. I went to this area of Dallas called Irving, and in this subdivision, it's the lady I got my hair done today, so my stylist was telling me, um, she was telling me that the community is all Indian. And her daughter was having a challenge because they really band together. So if one of the little girls has a problem with her, all of them have a problem with her. Like they really band together. Everyone knows each other. It's really Indian owned, that whole subdivision. And so when she moved there, she wasn't welcome. Because really it was like she's an outsider. So people don't really talk about that. You hear a lot about, white people, not welcoming Black people, but we don't talk about other races, right? All races do it. All races do. Like, here's my thing. Don't just hold white people accountable. We have to hold everyone accountable. And it's not only, I have, friends that are white, and they have been some of my biggest supporters, right? Even beyond, my Black friends. So we can't always focus on that. But at the same time, so we have this scenario where the Indian, they own that subdivision. Well, can you think of if it was all Black owned and building that community? There are spaces where it exists, but to Ms. Fulro's point, there has been things that have happened in the past where whites have attacked, burned down, destroyed the community, and we had to build from scratch or couldn't build it from scratch. That's a lot of wealth just destroyed. But today there are efforts that are, built around building these Black communities. So I really want us to continue doing that more so that, you have a choice. Like it's all a matter of choice. Like you want to be in this integrated community, great. If you want to just be around, people that look like you can. And it's, I don't know. That's just kind of where my mind has been over the past years. It's adulting, right? Oh, Miss Floral is saying it was a huge thing, and he was before Christ. So this could be the origins of the worship of one God. Ah. See, Miss Swirler is always coming through with the knowledge. I need to get you up on here again. I want to talk about that. I want to learn more about that. Creating a separate school only creates more division. But Mr. B, here's the thing. There's already division. And here's the scenario that we're in now. Right now, we don't have different places where we can go. You see how heavy these folks are fighting for the school to continue to be called Robert E. Lee, although that negatively impacts and harbors really bad feelings for people that look like me, right? It reminds me of a time where this school was very much for the South, and a part of that, slavery continuing, right? So if they're fighting this heavy to keep the school name, let them have the school, build your own school. It's not that it's going to create a ton more division than there already is. Can you even imagine the separation that exists in that school? Creating more things that are Black owned is only going to benefit the country. It's only going to benefit because it's going to benefit Black people, help build more wealth, which actually affects everyone. If there's more wealthy people in this country, it benefits everyone, especially when Black people are wealthy, because we spend outside of our community, inside our community, everyone wins. So no, I definitely think that there should be, more Black people creating schools and businesses and whatever, so that we have the option. So we're not saying, please change your school name. No, you know what? If you don't want to, that's fine. We have options. It's all about options. That's a part of the freedom equation. You have options. Again, just my thinking. Thank you, JMJ. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. JMJ said I'm borrowing that. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Barry Johnson says, nope. Been here the whole time. I was in the middle of fixing something around the house. Have you up on TV? Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, we're on the TV. Oh, I feel so special. No, thank you so much. Dixie died. Oh, wait, what? Dixie died long ago. It's just the aftermath hasn't been cleaned up. Oh, I get what you're saying. I don't know. I got it from Jalen Rose. LOL, Miss Roller. Jalen Rose. I don't know who that is. Miss Roller saying I'm doing way more adulting than twice. Wait, I'm doing way more adulting than folks twice my age. Well, you guys know I'm an old soul. I told this guy last week. I was like, he was like, "How old are you?" I was like, "I'm about 50." He was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, on the inside, I'm about 50." Yeah, that sounds right. He was really mad at me because he was trying to figure out what my age was. I was like, "Yeah, I'm 50." What about the soldier that walks by the Fort Hood entry sign? I have no idea what Mr. B's talking about. Wait. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. B. I'm sorry. I'm missing all of your comments. Sarah says, we don't fully know who we are or our history. We can't force unity with folks who don't want to unify with you. It is a waste of energy. Oh my God. I gotta read it again. I gotta read it again. Okay. We don't fully know who we are or our history. We can't force unity with folks who don't want to unify with you. It is a waste of energy. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm not against uniting. I think as a country, this is like in a time of division, it's probably the best time to hone in on the country and attack the country or something. It's terrible. Like, we need to be united. But you can't force unity. You just can't. And the unity may not affect us in the best way. We have to do what's best for ourselves for once. For once, we need to be we've always been for equality. Like, let's just be equal. No, let's do whatever we need to do to better our own people, to better myself, to better yourself. We need to do it. We need to do what's in our best interest. I'm sick of, feeling like Black people are having to continue to bend over backwards for everyone else. No, we need to focus on our communities. I don't understand why other people who have the communities already have an issue with when a Black person says, we need to build our own things. We need to support Black business. We're already supporting every other business. We've been doing it for years. What's the difference between us moving into thinking about what is for our best interest? All these other groups, look at the white race of people, right? Obviously, there's only a human race, but we've created the division, so let's talk about it. What have white men done over the course of the past centuries? They've done what's in their best interest. So what's the difference? Yes, Black people, we need to have our own schools. Jewish people have their own schools. What's the difference? If we're not getting taught the right things in public schools, build private schools. White people have private schools. They're not called white school, but who owns the school? Who primarily teaches at the school? Who are the principals of these schools? Who are the primary students of these schools? And then who's asking for entry into these schools? Sometimes people that look like me, right? No, we should definitely have our own schools. Obviously, I'm not saying that we need to just segregate it out completely and we bring back segregation. And no, I'm not saying that. That's very extreme. You guys know I'm not on the extremes. But we need to have the option. So if you're feeling you're terrorized at the public white school, well, you have the option to go to an all Black private, like a private school, not a public school. Very different because that's still being controlled, by, the government, the funding and everything. The funding isn't even fair. So when you think about the Black schools or Black inner city schools, well, that's not even fair to say because Black people own those schools. The funding isn't even fair that they're receiving. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. I wasn't trying to get off into a tangent, but I don't want you to think I'm coming from a different place than I am. But I'm saying we need to level that playing field because if you think about it in a way of like, okay, who owns what in this country? There's not a lot that Black people own in this country. So that's all I'm saying. Anyway. Miss Ferrell said, made it onto Barry's big screen. Love it. I know, right? I'm like, let me make sure I look good. I'm on TV. No, via demographic, one unity, one country. Mr. B, we already don't have the unity in one country. We are one country. Where is the unity? There's already division. Building a Black school or building a number of Black schools, just like building a number of Jewish schools, has not divided the country more, right? I don't know. I don't get your point, Mr. B. But I welcome your point because I want to understand where you're coming from. But I think my thinking is just different than yours. That's heavy, Miss Gorilla Sarah. It's extremely sad, but also true. However, I would never stop trying, which gets very, very challenging when you're not Black, brown yourself. That is a challenge. Mr. B says, LOL, Jess, no, it's not a waste. The demographics are here. This is the change. It will no doubt take a generation to take effect. Yeah, I agree with that. It will take a while. It'll take a while. Will the education be all that different? Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, Mr. B. Have you not seen this just means I have to do more videos like this, Mr. B. Whew, Lord. Have you seen the videos that have surfaced where I saw one recently where this lady was telling this Black child they needed to be a slave so that they could reenact slavery. They were teaching them about slavery and they told them they were the slave and these other, like, it's ridiculous the things that go on in public school systems and even private schools. Like, yes, the education will be that different. And there will be more education about our history, African history, right? Before coming to the US. If you look at any elementary school, and I'm thinking about even my school, like I barely remember learning about any other country information. It was US only. That's it. And you barely learned Black history, Black American history, let alone African, which is why with my trivia is I tried to incorporate some African history because we need to know as a people what was going on before being brought here as slaves. Like, that's not our history. White people think it is, generally. They don't really consider Africa. They don't really consider, and again, I'm talking generalities here, because I know there are people that know about the history of Africa, but it's very different. Very different. Yes, all that to say, Mr. B, yes, the education will be different. Because if you think about it, right now the education is geared towards a certain demographic, white American kid, right? Generally. You change it to, even when I would learn from Black professors and Black teachers, the education was different. Even with the same course material, they included more specific to me, right? So yes, for sure. Unity without accountability is sacrifice on the part of one of the parties involved in this relationship, which is not a relationship, it's sacrifice. What we have is the appearance. Thank you, Miss Roller. This is why I need you up on here one more time. Yes, the appearance of unity. Yeah, things look unified, but it's really not. If you even think about it, Mr. B, if you look at unity, we're not even unified by states. The states are completely different. Like what Texas wants is way different than what California and New York wants. Like we're not even unified from that angle. Like let alone you tie in all of these racial issues. Like no, gender issues, no, social status issues. Like no, we're not as united as we were up here. We're called United, right? We're called United States, but not quite. Mr. B says we need unity. I can't stress this enough. We do need unity. I agree with that. We do need it. But how do we get it? Building more Black-owned businesses, schools, programs, etc. does not take away. Here's the thing. It does not take away from the unity. It doesn't. It doesn't. It just empowers a group of people. Gives them more, I would say power, but just gives them more freedom and gives them options, to my point earlier. Building Black businesses, building Black schools does not take away from the country being united. Building Black communities does not take away from the country being united. To my point earlier of this Indian community, I don't think this Indian community takes away from the unity of the state of Texas, for example. But it probably gives them a better experience in this country because they have their circle of people, they have their community base, and they share a lot of commonality with their religion, with their culture, et cetera, et cetera. Just like with communities that are all white. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with there being a community that's all white. Like, I don't know why we think that's bad. The issue comes in when someone moves in, just like in this example, the lady moving in, she's Black, and she's not welcome. That's where the issue would come in. And maybe we don't have the option to, well, you know what, I feel unwelcome, I don't like it here. Do you have to bear it through it because that's your only option? Or can you go to an equally nice community that does feel welcoming, whether it's Black owned or Black, focused or not? You have that option. I do think we will get there, not in any of our lifetimes. Yeah, I don't think so either. As these later generations are way more other-minded than the earlier generation. I hope to see it before I leave here. I don't know. I think, again, you guys know my scenarios where I think we're going to unify. The AI or the robots take over, and we got to unify. The zombies come, and then we got to unify. We all become merged into one, so we all just so I marry a white guy, this person marries a Hispanic guy. Everyone's just mixed all up, and we all look about the same. Same features, roughly, same colors, same hair texture, all this stuff just looks the same. And there's no more race, except the human race. Like what we should originally be saying. We're just human. But I think those are the three scenarios. Or dinosaurs come back or aliens come down. Again, we got a common enemy and we're like, oh my gosh, we got to band together. We're human. But again, you guys know my brain is I think weird sometimes. LOL, she needs a timeout for you, Mr. B. No, I'm not going to time out Mr. B. He's welcome. I want to hear what he's saying, even if I don't agree completely. Okay, I agree. The existing must change. Yes. Ditto. Modified, unified. Unified, yes. Exactly. Not united. This is the change that's coming. We're here now. It will come. We'll have to unify. I mean, yeah, we have to. We're only strong when we're united. Heck, many are just finding out what happened in Tulsa just in the last decade, and that happened. You know what? I didn't learn about that in the history books. To Mr. B's point, will the education be different? The education did not tell me about the Tulsa riots, where we had these booming Black communities, right, in Tulsa, businesses, everything just great. And what was it, the story? Like someone whistled or something with a white girl was like the excuse, and they just needed an excuse because they wanted to destroy this community, right? They destroyed it, burnt it down, and I don't think people have really recovered or got the financial gains or insurance from that today. But yeah, I didn't learn that in the history books. I did not learn that from my typical school, but I learned it in college. I actually took different history classes, and so that's where I learned it. But no, you're not going to learn it in traditional school. Like, do you think American schools are going to be like, yeah, let's talk about how terrible and what all the white people did to you? Like, let's talk about it. Let's just go down the list here. Like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not. On the most part, they're not going to do it. You got to research it yourself. Let's talk about how great Black people are. Let's talk about the great contributions that Black people made to this country. Let's talk about what we took from the Native Americans and how we really got this land. Like, no, we don't really talk about it. A lot of that stuff is really skipped over. You learn about it in little bits and pieces, then you don't talk about it again. It's like you move on past that. At least talking again from my experience. And it doesn't seem like education has really changed that much, unfortunately. So, no. That's why I go back to homeschool a lot of the time. If you do homeschool, you get to really control what students are learning. I mean, students aren't even learning basics of financials. Like they don't even know how to budget. They don't know how loans work. They don't know the basics of finance. Like a lot of things are missed in our education system already. So it's just too much for one video. The death of in here is real. You were funny, JMJ. Man, not the dinosaur. Look, I'm telling you, it's gonna have to be some common enemy. Because it's just so deeply rooted. Like if you even talk about, as we look at the white community, and a lot of times with American, it's just white. You don't really go into European, like I'm German, I'm Irish, I'm this, I'm that. There are issues within these countries, like deeply rooted because of the history, right? And then you go into African countries, you go into Asian countries, you go in the Middle East. Like, well, we can see what's going on in the Middle East, but it's South America. Like, there's issues that are deeply rooted. So it's like even going beyond the Black, white, Hispanic, yada, yada, even from a country level, right? It's like you have all this history and it doesn't go away. So you move past the racial stuff and now we got to get into the history of like your people did this to my people and this and that and we were at war and this. It's a lot. It is a lot. So it would have to be something drastic that happens to get us to a point where we're like, kumbaya, we're all together. We love each other. We gotta get through this together. And a lot of times that happens during war. Like, people are more united because they have this common enemy that they have to, band together and protect, their people and whatever. But who knows? The robots are going to be fighting for us, as I mentioned on my last video. So who knows? JMJ, we need to say when I was in the military, I get jump boots and like get deep up in here. I've never heard that before. Wow. Yeah, I've never heard that. Mr. B is saying, what I've seen in Georgia this week is part of the final fight for Dixie 7. White men signing that legislation. That's so old. Wait, Mr. B, are you in Georgia? I don't think I realized that. Where are you located, Mr. B? Or were you in Florida? Can't remember. JMJ is just laughing. In other words, this is just getting deep. You guys know, like, yeah, sometimes I go a little deep. I don't know. I probably... what's crazy is I started this channel randomly talking about career topics, and I've shifted into just you know, this is what I'm thinking about with this issue or this social issue. Oh, my friend just called me. I'm going to have to get off her soon. One of my friends that I was talking about, like, you know, my point about my white friends being very supportive, even sometimes more supportive than my black friends, that was actually one of them. So I don't know if you could see, like, it just like pauses on my phone and it'll, anyway. But, oh, Mr. B, you're from Canada. I feel like I knew that. Canada. Oh my gosh, Canada. I need to visit Canada. Maybe Mr. B can be my tour guide once things open up for us Americans. I know most of the world doesn't want Americans there. Like, we've got a bad rap in most of the country. JMJ said, but hey, we brought it back full circle. Hello. I know we did. We brought it back a little bit, but yeah, I'm still gonna continue like the career topics, but the reason I named my channel just my name is because I wanted to talk about different things. I didn't just want it to be like, you know, all career topics all the time. I wanted to be able to share, you know, whatever was on my mind, you know, whatever I was thinking about, whatever I wanted to share with the people. And so that's what it will be. So Mr. B is laughing. It's the deal. Okay, cool. Mr. B is gonna be my tour guide. Yeah, I think Canada has a whole nother set of issues though with was it not only there is more indigenous, you know, the indigenous people, and also I guess black people there too. But that's more what I've heard in Canada. So that would be interesting to learn more about. Just like worldwide, there's always a little bit different. In America, it's just very, oh my goodness, it's just so much. It's like, where do you start, right? And then some other countries, it's either a little more covered up, you know, the isms, or it's just very blatant, very blatant. And then you get into places where it's like, you know, being a woman is probably going to be worse for me than my race ever could be. So it's crazy. Oh, really? Mr. B saying you have no idea how many Canadians are watching you change in America, huh? Yeah, well, I know that a lot of countries do look at America, you know, mainly. I visited British Columbia, Vancouver once back in my 20s. JMJ, you're not in your 20s? What? That's cool. I want to visit Canada. I was gonna visit Canada like while I was in New York, and you know, the Rona, you know, things happen. But I will get there. But I think you have to take the vaccine to travel a lot of places now. So I have not done that. I don't want to be a test dummy. So I guess I will eventually get it, but not now. I don't think I'm doing it right now. Has anyone else gotten the vaccine? I'm just curious now. Because I've seen different reports about the blood clotting, some people getting sick again. Like they have the vaccine and then they get sick. And so I'm like, well, if I gotta wear a mask and then I might get sick again, what's the point? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. Mr. B said I have a guest room if needed. Well, thank you. I appreciate the hospitality. That's very kind. No, I would definitely do like Airbnb or a hotel or something. I don't know if you guys have that there. Do you guys have Airbnb? I don't know if that's like a US only thing, but anyway, with this video though, going back to the original, it's just crazy. If you like these, I'm happy to do another one. Again, Miss Full Roller happened to share this with me, so thank you for the content for today. But this was a good conversation. Hopefully, you know, the folks that are fighting against the name of the school, they find some other options to where if they don't get to change the name, they can at least have another option or where they can go to, because I can't imagine, I can't imagine like you have to do this because it's the only way, and you have to take your kids to school, and this is the school in your vicinity. You can't drive them to another school far out or whatever. So it's just a tough situation. That's why I always think, like, I don't know if I want to have kids today in this lifetime. My mind keeps going back to the Tuskegee experiments, which did not end up. Oh, yeah. They did not end until 1972. So there's my answer. Right. Yeah. I definitely thought about that immediately. Like the S word. I don't know if I should say the word, but those injecting. Yeah, no, it's like, how do you know what they're injecting into your body, right? They could say it's anything, how do you know? And how do you know it's going to be good for you, especially something that's not fully FDA approved, as some of them aren't. And then also something that was really sped through the process. Like clinical trials, I always thought lasted for 2 years. At least that's what I heard from, you guys know I used to be a recruiter for a PR firm, and I would recruit folks that were putting together health materials, like health communication materials and materials for these pharma companies to get FDA approval. And typically that stuff took years. So I'm like, and even with those, the clinical trials, going through normal processes, FDA approval, even those have like this array of just all these symptoms that can, they can cause, or, if you've ever seen those commercials where it's like, may cause and death. And it's like, what? But this is acne medicine. What? It's like, this is for psoriasis. Like, how does it cause death? I don't understand. But those things happen. So anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. My daughter ran Airbnb. Oh, cool, Mr. B. Okay, so they do have Airbnb there. The first Moderna wiped me out. Really? Oh my. Oh, I missed your comment, JMJ. I received both doses, and second dose had me down and out. I've heard that. I've heard some people were fine, and I heard some that were like, they felt terrible. And I did hear the second dose was worse than the first. That's tough. Ugh. How are you feeling now? Hope you're doing okay. Let me see. And Mr. B said the Moderna wiped me out too. I hope you're feeling okay, Mr. B. My goodness. Oh, you came home and slept 8 hours? Oh my goodness. You were right. It did wipe you out. Oh my gosh. That caffeine kicked in good now. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Ugh. That is tough, JMJ and Mr. B. See, I'm not trying to be out like that. Nope. I want it fully vetted, and we'll see how it, we'll see what happens. Hey, Miss Yo-Yo, how are you? You kind of missed a lot of what we were talking about with these videos, my reaction, but hey, now we're just chit-chatting. Thank you, Miss Farrell, welcoming. Wait. Oh, you're making the scary face. You're like, I don't know about that. You're welcome. I hope you guys are okay. Oh, thank you, Miss Farrell. Yes, please do hit the like button. Again, so sorry for the voice. It's been like this for a few days, so like I feel fine, but yeah, this is not cool. I'm so over it. I have my humidifier going too, and I've been trying to drink water, lots and lots of water. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. I'm adding more. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there anything else on anyone's mind? Otherwise, I am going to peace out. And I guess the good news is like I am a couple hours away from my money. I don't know. It's probably not gonna be a lot of money or anything, but I just had it as a goal. I actually wanted to be monetized by the end of March. So it might happen a little bit later, but that's okay. I'm just happy that I'm getting closer. I didn't do anything like this. What is it? The sleep live. I did not want to do that. And then just the all day rotation, all day long. I didn't want to do that either, just because I don't know. I just like the playback for it. I just want to make that content that people can play back and get some value out of, versus me like sleeping. Like you guys don't want to see that. Like ooh, like what's going on with this girl? Even though it'd probably be in the dark and everything, but I've seen people do that, and I'm just like, no, I don't think that's for me. Oh, the pollen has been very heavy for the past several days. Yes. So the girl I went to get my hair done, different girl. So let me know what you think of the hair. I got a little trim, so it's a little bouncy and all that. But anyway, she was like, she was saying the allergy. She does not like spring. Doesn't like spring at all because she gets bad allergies. So I'm like, is this it? Like, I don't really have bad allergies like this. I normally don't, but you guys know I moved here. So this is my first spring in Dallas. I'm like, is it this bad? Like, why? It's like dry weather too. It's really weird. Oh, okay. So Miss Fowler says, if you have some lemon, I have some lemon and lime. Make you some lemon tea and try to drink it straight or with at least amount of sugar that you can stand. Okay, I can probably drink it straight. I don't eat a lot of sugar. Barry said, let's go. Yes, I'm so happy for it. Watch I get like, it's going to be like $5. But it's going to be okay because you know what? I'm just going to be happy because there are already ads playing on my videos because I watch them from another, I have another cell phone. So I was like, let me see. Because this girl, she told me, she was like, congrats about 2 months ago or a month ago? She was like, congrats, I saw an ad on your channel. I'm just like, I'm not monetized. And she's like, oh, I definitely saw ads. I'm like, oh, so I just don't get any of that cut, huh? So that'll be nice, for getting a little something back for the content. Thank you, Miss Full Roller. And Mr. B says, great show again, Jess. America is coming back better. Thanks for the chats. Have a great day, you all. Well, thank you for stopping by, Mr. B. It was a pleasure as always. Appreciate your comments. You always provide a different perspective, so I appreciate you. Miss Roller, sorry. I'm like moving my stuff around. My camera. Basically my phone. It ain't much, but whatever it is more than what you had, LOL. Oh, exactly. So that is key. That's what I'm gonna remember. I'm not expecting much, but it'll be nice to get something back from my efforts. So they are running ads on non-monetized channels. That's interesting. YouTube is like, or Google is like, we're getting all this money. I mean, I don't blame them from a business standpoint. Why not? But yeah, so that is the video. The crazy, I shouldn't say crazy, but the weird Floridians standing up for this random school or whatever. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. And I appreciate being on your TV. Hey. All right, guys. I'm just being goofy now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be on during the week. I don't have a schedule plan. I'm just going to pop up when I see something I want to talk about. I do have a video that's going to be popping up at 8 a.m. tomorrow. It's just about some companies that are hiring in the Bitcoin blockchain space. It's like a 5-6 minute video. So if you can check that out, please do. And then I'll pop up for some kind of live chat on something that I find. Of course, if Miss Full Roller sends me something, I'll talk about that. If not, I'm sure I always have something to talk about or complain about or something. As it comes to this video, I'm just like complaining. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for being here. And I will see you guys in another video. Peace. Happy Easter Sunday.